Carolina Eick, I play the theremin, and in this lesson series I'm showing you how you can learn to play a major scale on the theremin in 12 simple steps, using the theremin technique that I developed. Learning an instrument is never easy, and of course this is just an introduction to theremin technique. If you want to learn more techniques in depth, I recommend you buy my theremin method book. You can find the link in the description of this video. This is lesson number 1, pitch field and setup. In this lesson, you are going to learn all about the pitch field of the theremin and how your body influences the field. The theremin has 2 antennas. These antennas are surrounded by electromagnetic fields, which we can influence with our body capacitance. So on my right side, I have this upright antenna, which controls the pitch. And then on my left side, I have a loop-shaped antenna, which controls the volume. Now let's try to visualize this field. Or maybe you know how a field looks like from a radio antenna. So it's pretty easy. If you drop a stone into the water, you'll see the waves are flowing away from that stone. And that's if you would drop a stone right on top of the pitch antenna. Which means that the field surrounds the antenna and it goes into all directions. So it is very sensitive into all directions. That means that pitches, notes, are anywhere in space. Now, that is very important to understand because when you are at the theremin and you play around here and somebody else walks by, it will change your pitch. It will influence your pitch. So whenever you play with other musicians or when you have an audience, you want to make sure that they are far enough away so that they won't interfere with your pitch. Not only moving objects interfere with the pitch field, but also steady objects, of course. So when you set up your instrument, you want to make sure that you have enough space around the pitch antenna. You don't want to set it up next to a wall, for example, because it will influence the field as well. If you bring capacitance into the field, that's when the field will expand. Keep that in mind when you set up, have enough space around the pitch antenna. Now there's a little trick. If you play in a space where people might be moving around, you can shield the field with a metal object, like a music stand, for example, which doesn't have too much capacitance. So you can put it in front of your pitch antenna or your theremin, and so it gives you a little bit of distance between you and the people who walk around. Now it is important to understand the different elements of the instrument, because the theremin itself isn't the whole instrument. There are 4 elements. It is the theremin. Second one is a loudspeaker, because you need something to produce the sound. The third element is your own body, because your body capacitance will change the pitch and the sound. And the fourth element is the electromagnetic field or fields. Now, because your body is a part of the instrument, it will shape your instrument. It will shape the electromagnetic fields. So it is very important that you find a consistent relationship to your instrument. And that means that your body posture is the same every time you play, and your distance is the same to the instrument every time you play. Now let's talk first about posture. I like to play seated on a bit higher stool, not on a normal chair, but on a stool which is a bit higher. So I have a stable position with my body. So it is important that every time I play, I sit with the same posture. I have a stable core so that my hands and arms are free to perform the notes. How do we define the distance to the instrument? Now, you can stretch out your right arm like this and bring it forward until your wrist touches the antenna and your arm is about 45 degrees away from your body. This way, you have decided about the distance to the instrument, and every time you play, you can check the distance and you know you're in a good spot. It is also important to adjust the right height of the instrument so that you can reach the volume loop in a comfortable way. For that, you might need a low microphone stand. If you want to know about stool and microphone stand models, you can check my website. On my FAQ page, I give you some tips about it so you can find the right equipment. Now let's talk about the loudspeaker. The loudspeaker is very important in your setup since it will produce the sound. It is important that you use a full range speaker so you can play all the pitches in a very nice way. A guitar amp, for example, won't work very well because the frequencies just don't work for the theremin as well. It is also important that the speaker is about an arm length away from your ear, not much more, because you will rely on the sound, so you don't want it to be in the other side of the room. You want to have it as close as possible. One last thing, before you start to play, switch on your instrument about 15 minutes before you play. The electronics inside your instrument will warm up during that time and will expand the pitch field during that time. So you want to turn it on and then just wait before you start your practice session. That's all for today. If you want to learn more about the volume field and how that all works, you are very welcome to sign up for an online lesson with me. Until next time, check your setup, get familiar with your body posture, and maybe there's some equipment you'll need to get. Learn how to adjust the height of the instrument and how to position yourself in relationship to the theremin. In the next lesson, you are going to learn about the pitch knob on your instrument and how to adjust the pitch field to your own body. I'll see you then.